Welcome, my friends. It has been a while since I've done an interview. I am so happy to be back with you. As you can see, I have Melwell Lodge in the background and a very good friend that I'm about to introduce off to my side. I don't know if you see this to the left or the right, so I'm not sure which way I should say that is. But anyways, I have a dear friend with me, and I'm very, very thankful that she is. Karen, you've been a great inspiration over the past little while. You and I have worked together very, very closely, and the law of attraction brought us together. And I am so happy to have you here to have just a fun conversation with you and to pick your brain about how you deal with the world of people transitioning into a new life after or during or before retirement. So, my dear friend, tell us what it is that you do and why you do it so wonderfully.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. First of all, Dean, this is so exciting. I've been looking forward to hanging out with you again. We have been hanging out a little bit with a wonderful program that will be out for the world to see in very short order. But also, I have to tell you guys, Dean has been the most amazing support and accountability partner for me. And that's really how the law of attraction brought us together. We both needed a little extra accountability, as everybody does, right? And most people go to their friends, their families, and that's all fine. But in my world, in the Awesome Life Success, I have found, for me personally, friends and family just want me to be happy. So they are going to support me whether they think it's woo-woo or not, you know? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And heaven knows I got enough woo in me, and don't poo-poo the woo-woo. I got a lot of that, but I'm also very realistic and recognizing what it is that I need. And then when I find out what I needed and then transform it to something, then I love to share that. That's right. To share that with the world. Because if it you know, almost everyone that you have ever spoken to in a class, in a personal development, they always say, all right, don't be afraid to ask your questions, because if you have a question, even if you think it's a really silly question, if you have a question, then I guarantee other people who are listening have that same question. Oh, yeah. So there are no silly questions.
That's, well, you know, I can make an exception to that. There's the only silly question is the one you do not ask, I think.
Well, there you go. There you go. If nobody asks it for you, right?
That's right. That's right. And I have to say, Karen, you're absolutely correct, because I have been in masterminds and virtual dinner parties and summits, and you mentioned it, I've been there. Just various formats, and I've always found that silence is everybody wondering, okay, who's going to ask this question first? Because everybody seems to know that it's, wait a second, all I got to do is someone's just got to ask the question, and it's going to be, hey, wait a second, I wanted to ask that question, right? And the beauty of it is that as soon as one person opens up and shares with that vulnerability of showing that strength of being willing to ask for help by asking that question, that just opens the floodgates, and everybody goes, wait a second, that didn't hurt him, it can't hurt me, I got a question too, right? And that's where the power really comes in, because like when we were doing our accountability together, you know, I was looking for different versions of what we were trying to create online to see if there was, you know, somebody, you know, I didn't want to necessarily reinvent the wheel if I could avoid it. And I'm thankful amazingly for the help from ChatGPT, but your inspiration and just knowing what it was that you expected from the process and the end result of the way you think, the way we connected, the way we communicate, allowed me to just kind of sit back and go, you know, how would Karen want this to look or feel or function, or you know, and it was so powerful for me to have that connection. And I just want to share with my audience and your audience, when you share this out there, that is what we're all about. The law of attraction is about connection. It's about not just connecting us with our desires, but connecting us with a community of like-minded people with similar desires, so that we can build together, and we can cause, get some momentum going. We can work from what other people are doing, as opposed to doing it all ourselves from the beginning. And it's beautiful when we get friends that show up to a show. Right now, this is a good friend of mine. His name is Michael Cicero, and he and I were, of course, happy to be Father's Day recipients yesterday. And it's good to have you here, Mike. Good to have you here, my brother.
Michael. So good that you're joining us.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And Mike is a very spiritual individual as well, so he can relate to anything that we might share here on this interview, Karen. So yes, so by all means, Karen, what was, give us a quick outlook, or a quick, your elevator pitch, if you don't mind sharing it that way, of what it is, who you help, and what you do, so everybody knows what we're talking about.
Sure. I am the creator of the Awesome Life Success System for women in transition who are looking for something. Maybe they don't know what it is, or maybe their life has just changed. They don't know how to get through to the next level. And so I came up with the Awesome Life Success System, which awesome, everybody uses that word, but I've put it into a system so that if you are able to be aware and allow, accept what you can do, what you can't do, what is best for you and not somebody else, but for you. And then combine that with enjoying life. So the A stands for awareness and allowing in awesome. The final E stands for enjoyment and fun. And heaven knows, Dean and I have had a lot of fun. And he has seen me at my best, and he has seen me at my worst.
And vice versa.
As an accountability person. So, and that going back anyway.
Yeah.
Following the system, we have when we are feeling healthy and emotionally well, that's the W. That's where we work on creating that. Then our environment. So many of us, we have no idea what our environment is doing to us. I don't like to lay blame. I take total responsibility, because the fact is, sometimes we don't know what it is until it's brought to our attention. And then we can sit back and say, oh, you know what? I really don't like this, or this is really bringing my energy down. And this is my environment. This is my head trash. This is whatever. And then you have an opportunity to shift that. Yep. You have a choice. So I don't want to lay blame on environment. It is what it is, but we can always change. As Dean has this scrolling thing going by, which is kind of cool. I love this. But the fact is that we can't always change our circumstances, but we can always choose how to respond to these.
That's right. That's right.
And that's so crucial. That is our... Yeah. It totally is. Being able to respond instead of react. And too many of us, including me, are say, react and lash out quite often.
One of the things that you continuously remind me of, and it's so subtle but powerful, is how we know what to do, but we don't seem to do it. And that is the irony for 99.9, if not 100% of us out there. Is anybody that out there that is, looking back and saying, why is it, why did it seem so tough? Or why does it seem so impossible looking forward? Or just finding themselves in the I can't, or I don't believe, or whatever that mindset is that people tend to bury themselves in. Why is it that we don't give ourselves the credit, the benefit of the doubt? Why do we have to hold ourselves back with these self-beliefs and just not do what we know how to do, as opposed to, doing what we know how to do? If we would just get off our butts and do it and start doing it and get that momentum going, we would see a huge change.
And that's
It's
where
like,
the accountability comes in. And if you
yep,
have your friends and family, it's wonderful if it works. If they're not beating you up and telling you that you can't do it, or this is silly or stupid
yep,
or asinine, get off your butt and go get a job, that sort of thing, that's demoralizing. That's all it is.
well,
And
you need support. You need the support.
you need support, and you need to have somebody who lovingly, in my case, I need somebody who is lovingly saying, you know what, Karen, that may not be the smartest move at this moment in time, or maybe we could tweak this a little bit and make it even better. And that is really what Dean did with this accountability program that will be launched very shortly. And it is this program, you need to have people that understand where you are, understand what you want to do, without rehashing the story of why you can't.
That's right.
If you have the idea, it is yours to have happen.
That's right. That's right.
And that's where spirit, the S in awesome, right in the center, spirit. If you have that niggling that something can change for the better,
Mm-hmm.
it can.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And with spirit's help, it absolutely will.
That's right.
You just have to know how to ask the right questions
And
to get the right answers.
Let me share something powerful about that, because you mentioned that, and I actually had something exactly that happen to me in the journey for creating this accountability program. As no one else but you and I would know, I'm building it in Excel, Microsoft Excel, and I found it more robust than Google Sheets, as well, for various reasons, but all of them technical that don't matter really much to anybody when they get to use the product. But the point remains that as I was building this with Karen, when I didn't have the opportunity to be in a circumstance like I am right now, face to face, and able to ask a direct question and get a back and forth commentary or question or whatever you want to call it, interaction, and get that thing where we know, okay, wait a second, no, that's not what I meant this, and blah blah. It's really hard to know if I was actually creating something that other people would want and be able to make use of. So while I was building it, I was searching for other things online, and I wasn't finding anything at first. It was one of those where I'm thinking, wow, am I really the only one building something like this? I don't really believe that. I don't think I'm reinventing the wheel here. There's somebody's had to have done something like this somewhere along the line. And of course, a couple of days later, sure enough, the algorithm caught up and provided me with a few circumstances that were very similar, but very different. My question to the universe had been, what am I doing differently, if anything, that is more satisfying for an end user interface, ease of usability, compared to something else that might be out there? How will I know the difference? So what happened was the universe gave me two different versions of what I'm doing at a very reasonable cost for me to look into and go, oh, that's terrible, I hate the way that works. And going, man, am I ever glad I didn't design mine that way. And knowing full well that when I was responding back to the creators, I wasn't getting very good support back. I was getting vague, useless support back. And it was to me that was thinking, oh, okay, there's hard to use, weak support. Those are the two things that I had already built into not being a problem. And I just wanted the universe to confirm, okay, is there something else I should have considered before we move forward with this and publish it, right? So I just wanted to, because you didn't know this yet, Karen, so I just wanted to give you an opportunity to be part of that little tidbit of news of how the law of attraction really does work, and how it's so powerful in exactly answering your questions if you ask the right ones.
Yes. Absolutely. I love that. What a great example, Dean. This is, it absolutely is. Asking the right questions. As you reminded me more than once, garbage in, garbage out.
Right. Absolutely.
So it's how to ask. And I think the other key that you brought up was you kind of let it go for a while. You ask the question and then you kind of let it go for a little while. And then a couple of days later, it showed up. And that's where the A in awareness and allowing, oh, all right, now I have something I can look at.
Yeah.
But it is a key to not dwell on it.
That's right.
It's all right. Here, I have this question. In the meantime, there are other things that I can be working on and making a difference. So I will work on the other things. And hey, I put out the question. I want an answer, and I expect an answer. So a couple of days later, it shows up. Yeah, law of attraction and spirit at best, right?
That's right. And there's something else that I want to share with anybody that would be watching the replay and or live, and for you as well, Karen. In that description of being patient and not dwelling, you mentioned the word dwelling. We are encouraged and well served to embellish and believe and support and visualize, envision, and talk about and have a positive attitude towards that particular purpose. The dwelling part generally has some form of anxiety attached to it. And when we have the anxiety attached to it, that nullifies that positive vibration and it sends out a confusing vibration to the universe. And if we get an answer, it won't be clear and concise to our question, because we'll have muddied the waters, so to speak, with respect to what we put out to the universe. The universe is going, well, what's he want? He's doing this, but he's saying that, and he's that, so I'm getting mixed messages. It's, it's like having a spouse that says one thing and does another, and you're thinking, well, wait a second, what? This isn't making sense.
We have to align that mind, body, spirit. We have to have that aligned. And when it is aligned, oh, magic happens, doesn't it, Dean? It's almost like magic. And it's like as is scrolling across here, when you change your paradigm, when you change your perception, you change your truth. Truth is perception. And what is truth? Truth is your belief. And if you can change that thought process to even a possibility of something else. Right. I mean, you don't have to buy into it, hook, line, and sinker, but you just, is it even possible? And I will tell you, when I started in this world of coaching and metaphysics, and I was a totally realistic person. There was no metaphysical here at all, none, zip. And it was interesting, but I'd gotten into the coaching world, and again, I was open. I was starting to open up, which is where the awareness and the allowing comes. I was started to open up to the possibilities. And Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, fame and Hay House Publishing, had written a book called You Can Heal Your Body. Well, if you don't have to take drugs necessarily to heal your body, I'm all for that. Sometimes we wait. Our body is always telling us, our universe is always telling us stuff. And if we ignore it long enough, not good things happen sometimes.
That's right. I can attest to that very personally.
Me too.
So correct.
Yeah. And the thing is, I don't like to work hard. I don't want my clients to have to go down to that deep, deep hole where they never can climb out of.
That's right.
It is important to take the baby steps. take the baby steps to make it as simple and as painless as possible to climb out of that hole with ease, because you have the support and you didn't do it all at once. But what I found with this book, it was fascinating, being open and aware, and allowing the I was sitting there just having my morning coffee, and all of a sudden I got a horrible headache, neck pain, excuse me, a horrible neck pain. And I went from being just fine to, oh, I can't even move my head left or right.
Wow.
Or up or down. I was locked.
Wow.
And I said, oh, well, you know what? I just got the book in the mail from Amazon, Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Body. I wonder what that has to say.
Sure.
And it said something to the effects of your unwillingness to look at other possibilities, to looking at the world in a different way, to looking at the situation in a different way. It's your unwillingness. And I thought, what? I am the most open, willing person to see the other. I mean, my mantra is change your perspective, change your truth. I am always the devil's advocate, finding another way to look at something so it isn't as hurtful as we're making it.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. There is this one little place. This one little place that I am not necessarily open to seeing it any other way. I wonder if that is it. Just like that. I can turn my head up, down, no problem. The pain went totally away. I did not have to fix the problem. I did not have to change my mind. I just opened up to the possibility that that was the cause of my stiff neck. Yeah. And obviously it was.
That's right. That's right.
It's fascinating how that thing goes. And also, you know, the next letter in awesome is organization. Organization is something that I will be working on forever and ever and ever, because
you and everybody else.
It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
And when I am able to be organized, my confidence goes up. And my clients, when they are prepared for situations to be able to respond to a situation, they are organized. They know what they're going to say. They know where their papers are if they need it. They know what they're going to do when they're standing up on stage. It isn't scary anymore. There isn't any problem at all. So when you are organized, whether it be in your physical world or your mental world, things just get a whole lot better.
That's right. And to further that thought, one of the things that a lot of people think they have to do, and they're not correct, they think they have to change everything to reach that particular point of success. You don't. You didn't get where you are by getting it all wrong. Come on now. Let's not go there. Let's give ourselves a little credit. Let's thank ourselves. Don't spank ourselves. Let's be realistic. You are a success. You're just not sure how to get to the next level from your current level of success. That's all. That's all. You don't have to change. You don't have to tear down everything and start over again. You do not have to do that. As a matter of fact, I won't ever encourage anybody to do that, because that's just too much work. And you're only going to try to rebuild half or more of half of the same thing that you had anyways. So why? It's all about just taking a little step at a time. 1% better today than you were yesterday, and 1% better today than you were yesterday. That's how we built that workbook. We built it as we went through it. And it was one of those where this is a good idea, and no, that won't work. Or wait a second, that's not what I meant. I meant this. And those little subtle tweaks and twiggles, as you mentioned earlier. I love that word when you said that. I wanted to comment on that. I love a twiggle. But the point is, we're not rewriting the book. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're just making ourselves a little bit better. Something that we didn't know yesterday that we knew today. that makes a huge difference. Let me give you an example. So again, law of attraction in business. As you and I have realized in the past little while, AI has had a huge impact on anybody that's willing to delve into it, learn how to use it, not be afraid or intimidated by it, and actually be thankful for the time saving that it has done. Now, you might remember quite clearly, Karen, when we were working, I would commonly say, well, it has a cutoff date of such and such. I think it was September 2021. It does not have access to the web, which, you know, did limit its abilities to be helpful, but nonetheless made it still far more powerful than, for example, Excel formulas that I would never know. Right. But
very, very difficult to get those Excel formulas, especially if you're not a neuroscientist or something.
Right. And here's the tweak, or here's the twiggle, if we want to put it that way. People have learned that that's what has been missing. And there has now been extensions, Chrome extensions developed that add on to ChatGPT that make it accessible to the web, make it so that you can speak to it as I spoke to you earlier and mentioning, so because you don't like to type, right? You got your hunt and peck typist, right? So it's like I'll be all day typing a sentence. So now you can speak your prompts into ChatGPT with a particular extension. There's also plugins that allow, you can pick 3 plugins when you're on the subscription that allow you to improve what you're doing on your ChatGPT based on, so you can activate a particular plugin. One, for example, that counts characters and spaces. I know you can do that in Word, and I know you can do that in various other places. But all I'm saying is there's various ways to make use of AI in today's marketplaces, in today's digital world. Very powerful. And now you, with some of these extensions, you can have it right there no matter where you go on the web, so that it's always right there beside you. If you need it, it's there. It already knows what you're doing, so it already has an idea of what you're talking about. It has access to the web. So if you're saying compare this to that, when you're already on that, it's just going to be a clickety click. And if you don't want to type, you just speak it. So it's you know, and I'll share all these with you later on, Karen. And anybody else that wants to know about this, let me know. I know I've been rocking Karen's world with how easy it makes work.
Oh, right? Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah. I highly, he's done amazing work here.
It's been fun, and it's been an inspiration, because until you came along, I never realized that it was something that a client might need. Having built it and built parts of it myself already previously, and just took from that. All right, brother. Mike's got to let us go. He's carrying on. Much love, brother. Thanks for being here. You can watch the rest on the replay, my friend. And it's all good, because you know what? That's the beauty of technology right now. I'm sharing this on various Facebook platforms. I'm sharing it on Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, all simultaneously, my friends. So, oh, he says he's not hanging in there. Oh, he's talking about sharing with us about the ChatGPT. Okay, that's what he's talking about.
Oh, okay, great.
And thanks for hanging in there with us, Mike. I wasn't sure what you meant there, buddy. But yeah, nonetheless, it's all about connection, communication, and improving what it takes for each of us to do our jobs. With respect to, you know, yeah, that's what he meant. I'll be in touch to discuss that AI thing. All good, brother. Looking forward to sharing that. Yep.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff. And I have to tell you, I don't know. I'm going to take ownership of that inspiration for you, Dean, because the fact is that sometimes we forget that not everyone is at the same level. Now, I'm in my 70s, and my technology, although I computerized my town back in the day of DOS, I have been around computers forever, but I can't keep up now. I simply cannot keep up. And the fact is, I don't want to keep up. So what can I do instead? That is the question. And that is when I find people like Dean that are able to do that, to help with. And on my behalf for him, he was able to say, oh, not everyone touch types. Not everyone can do this and know where to hit that. We're going to slow this down for people like Karen. And so that is why this is such a powerful accountability software that Dean has developed, along with having a human to help with that accountability. Because let's face it, sometimes things happen.
That's right.
And we're just not feeling great. And we need that little extra support along the way. Human support, not AI, but human support. That's right. And that is where this accountability is so powerful, but it's so fast. And they say that you can change a habit in 28 days. Yes, and you can go back to a bad habit in 3 or 4 days. That's so right. It's very beneficial to carry on with this, to create that habit. And with Dean's help, I have created a new morning routine that is serving me wonderfully well. It just starts off the morning fantastically optimistic, positive, and prepared. My morning routine will prepare you for no matter what comes in. If you are set, you are set no matter what. And I thank you so much for that. And the M in awesome is money.
Yay!
And it helps with that abundance of income, because the more money that you can have coming in, the more you can spread it out into the world and make a bigger difference.
That's right.
You can make a much bigger difference when you are making money. When you are able to pay your bills with ease, knowing that you don't have to rob Peter to pay Paul, it just is so refreshing, so relaxing. And when you are able to do that without being in the rat race and being subjected to criticism from people who don't know what you're going through, or they have expectations for things that may be not beyond your skills and your abilities, but just unrealistic for a happy life, for an awesome life. Right. And that is what awesome life success is living a life of confidence and clarity and courage, living that life. And with it, it brings more focus, more fun, and more financial freedom, which I am really enjoying it, being a law of attraction for clients.
And you know, it's amazing as you're sharing that, the power of it is so subtle, because everybody that you help, Karen, is already in a place where they've almost reached the pinnacle. They've just lost their passion for focus as to what it is. What is the next pinnacle? Why did I get here? Why did I walk into this room? What am I doing in here? And this just happens to be the next room in your life. Right. So is it the bedroom? Are you going to lay down for the rest of your life? Or is it the exercise room where you're going to do something? Is it the backyard where you're going to go gardening? Is it, you know, what is the next step for you? And I don't mean for you, Karen. I mean for us as an individual, as we mature, as we get into our 60s and 70s. You know, it won't be long before I'm into 60 years old. So I know full well what this means. And of course, health, as well as self-worth. Not financially, but the ability to wake up with a spring in your step and a zip in your voice and energy in your connection. You want to go connect with people. You want to make people feel better. You want to do things that are positive for yourself, as well as easily abundant for someone else that you can share with. And that's one of the reasons why we charge the price that we charge, is because we know the return on your investment is going to be high. And not only that, but a lot of what we do behind the scenes is stuff that your fees are paying for. As for example, with me, with respect to my clients, I offer tech support. Now, it would scare the pants off you if I told you how much that would cost you outright, but I cover the cost. That's part of the reason why my price is so high, because you are going to need tech support somewhere along the line, and I am not going to charge you extra for that. And this is, so when you buy a Beamer, for example, or a Cadillac, oil changes come with that. right? Now, I've never owned a Beamer, but I've owned a Cadillac, so I know what it means, right? And as far as I know, when you have a BMW, the higher levels, oil changes come with your maintenance package. So, you know, it all depends on what is your level of quality that you're willing to live with as well as share. Because guess what? Garbage in, garbage out. You mentioned that earlier in our conversation. If you want to be cheap, then that's what you're going to get out. It's going to be, you know, but if you want to be abundant and in a high level of reciprocity, that means giving and receiving back and forth to the universe with abundance from the quantum field, then that's your choice. And of course, you need to be strong in your vibration with that. You have to be consistent and confident. And you know, an awesome life has to be part of what you're trying to create for yourself. So as an example, you can share with how to do that with others. And that's what the power is. And I love what you do for people, Karen, because most everybody's already there. They just don't realize it. And that little shift is all it takes. And they're more than happy to say, yeah, it's well worth it for me to get over that hump, because I've been trying to do this on my own. And if you could do it on your own, you would have already done it, right?
And that is the key. That is the key to having some accountability. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what the possibilities are. And Dean was able to show me lots of possibilities that I never knew about to make my life a whole lot easier. And that was, you know, that's fantastic. And in all fairness to people, yes, we do charge a fair amount for our services. That absolutely. For one-on-one, that's a huge investment. Howsoever, there are ways of getting the support you need and moving forward with it, sometimes even for free.
Yeah.
If you can gather that information and put it into action and start making the money, then you can start paying for the hand holding that comes with a higher level.
That's right.
But it's wherever you are at the moment. Don't keep focusing on what you can't do, but focus on what you can do, because we can all choose to do something different. And it's all okay as long as we are aware and allow. I know I had a coach, oh, bless her, I love her. She said, you know, whatever you choose is fine. It's giving permission. It's perfectly fine.
That's right.
If you want to move forward to what you call success, and you are not doing what you need to do to reach that point, then maybe that particular success is not what you want. Awareness and allowing.
That's right.
So down here, sometimes, and I've done it after being given permission to sit on my couch, watching mindless TV, eating bonbons, feeling sorry for myself, feeling like a victim. I don't do with victims, at least not for more than 1 or 2 sessions. I don't work with victims. If you're willing to get out of being a victim.
There we go.
And it was hard for me to recognize that I was playing victim. It was serving me in a huge, wonderful way. And I was stuck.
That's it.
And I didn't like being stuck. And when I finally acknowledged, became aware and allowed the fact that I was playing victim, and I didn't have to.
No, that was a choice.
It was serving me. It was serving me in a wonderful, I mean, people felt sorry for me. People would work for me. Great. I didn't have to do anything. Is that really what I wanted? No.
I certainly hope not.
It was what I wanted to do for myself so I could learn how to do it, so I could help others get out of that victimhood. And that's really what I do with the Awesome Life Success System. And it is, when I did sitting there on the couch eating bonbons, the key was, how long are you going to do that? You're fine. Go ahead and choose it, but you have to have a time limit.
Yep.
And my time limit was when I feel like making a change. Okay, fine and dandy. Ask yourself again in 15 minutes. How long are you going to sit here watching TV and eating bonbons? And what time are you going to make the change? Well, I don't know the time. But keep asking yourself, and all of a sudden it's like, dang, are you feeling better sitting here eating bonbons on the couch, or would you feel better going up and working in your home office and making a difference?
There you go.
And when it hit that point of, okay, I don't need it anymore. I played victim. I played sorry for me. Poor Karen. I think it was about 20 minutes, because I kept asking myself that question. And I said, all right, now I'm ready to go up. And I did not beat myself up. And I don't want my clients to ever beat themselves up for that, because if you are doing something that you don't feel up to doing, it's going to turn out like crap. Yeah. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
You have to have your heart into what you're doing, or it's just going to be crap. And I have learned that the hard way too. I have lost more clients because I did not want to talk to them.
Isn't it weird how that works? And you know, the beautiful thing is that it's a choice. And we're, like I mentioned earlier, it's a subtle thing. We're already halfway there. We already know what to do, and we're just choosing not to do it. Or we already know what not to do, and we're choosing to do it. You know, the implications are there. The reality is there. And it's the big challenge for every person, and mostly for entrepreneurs and small business owners, is if I don't do it, it won't get done. And that's why we develop a team. And that's why we end up with understanding that, okay, wait a second. My goal is I should be able to walk away from this for a month and still see revenue come in, and still see everything in place when I get back. And if I went on vacation, that's awesome. If I happen to have to go to the hospital for a particular reason, that's okay too, because I have everything sorted out and set up, and it is what it is. I'm ready to go. And that's the goal for any, you know, and the month it should be the minimum, you know, and it should be one of those. It doesn't even have to, just as long as there's no hiccups, no wrinkles while you're off doing your thing. And by all means, keep in touch while you're doing it.
And you can have the wrinkles. That's all right. The wrinkles happen.
They will.
All that does is give you an opportunity to look at it in a different perspective, to say, hey, thank you. I had it all set up. I thought I had it all in place. This little thing happened. So I can make a difference now by shifting that and making it better. And that's what you did with this program as well. Recognizing what we can do to make that difference. It is a lot of people, a lot of women in particular, my age, older than 50, will say, I don't necessarily want all the money. I don't want to be a millionaire. I've said that myself. Millionaire is not my need at the moment. If I came close, sure, I want to keep going, but it's not my need at the moment. I have other commitments that are things that do drive me, and income helps pay for those things.
That's right.
So that is a huge part of my goals, my monetary goals. But a lot of people say, you know, I have a good enough income. I don't need any more. That's okay. If I had any more, I just want to give it and that's fine. But are you happy?
I was
Are
just
you
about to ask that
healthy?
question. Just about to say that.
Are
Yep.
you feeling the joy in your heart? Are you feeling the confidence to be you, to be awesome in your skin? It doesn't matter what anybody else looks at you and says about you,
That's right.
because they don't necessarily know you.
And the irony is that they don't need to know you. They just need to feel your happiness. Because if you truly are happy, you'll be sharing it before they even look at you.
And
They'll know you're sharing your happiness just by it being in your zone.
yeah, that ripple effect. Your
Yeah.
energy goes out there, and it goes through the internet as well, as Dean and I have found out. Talking to Dean really picked me up every morning when we were doing our accountability sessions, and I think vice versa upon occasion as well.
All the
So
time.
it is, you change your perception, you change your paradigm, you change your truth.
That's right.
And if we can shift some of those beliefs to a place of recognizing what they truly are, which, our beliefs came from all different places. And are they serving us now? And do you choose to make a change? Now, there are some beliefs, there are some things I have said to people, you know what? I know exactly what's wrong, and I'm not changing it. So let's find something else. So shifting that, knowing what you're not willing to change, is also a change that allows you to grow without having to give up necessarily.
And
So
that's exactly how I um, was able to beat an addiction previously in my life. Was I made that choice as to, is this something I'm willing to change? And it was a matter of transitional perception. It's no longer serving me. It's costing me money I'd rather not spend. It's interfering with my health, or it's costing me time. And there's various levels of that. Okay, fair enough. It no longer, just drop it. There's no point, right? And this is applicable to any habit, anything that we want to change in our life, anything at all, absolutely anything and everything. When you're building a business, what is the thing that you're struggling with? Is it you don't have an email campaign, you don't know how to set one up, or the one you have isn't working, or you never even knew you should have an email campaign set up? Right? What is it? Like there's patterns that work in modern business and in digital in the digital world, and everything has its purpose and its place. And it's so easy to miss something. It's so easy to develop a bad habit or a non-habit where you're just avoiding doing something because it just requires so much persistence and consistency that you don't see the point of it. And yet, like anything else, you don't learn how to swim the moment you fall in the water. At least not that I'm aware of. I mean, they say some babies are able to do that if they're young enough, but I don't know. I have 5 kids, and they all took their time learning how to swim, walking, riding the bike, all that sort of stuff.
it
The
takes
irony
practice.
being, it does. Everything you have to keep at it in order to get good at it. The irony being, I was one of those dads that when my kids started walking, I started tripping them. But it wasn't out of meanness. It was like, okay, let's make sure those kids can't get knocked down in the future. So try knocking one of my kids down today. Their footing
Not
is still solid, right? And that's what it is. That's what is it that you go through in life that trains you to be who you are. And what is it that are you triggered by little wee things and it ruins your whole day, or do you understand that it's part of life and you carry on with your purpose and your passion? Which side of the coin are you on? And it's just a matter of a flip of the coin in order to make a difference.
It absolutely is. It's having the tools in your toolbox that can help you flip that coin, because those things do happen. Heaven knows. If you're not eating right, part of the wellness, if you're not taking in decent nutrition that is supporting you, if you are sitting there eating bonbons. After a while, that just gets old, and they're definitely not going to help your mind
That's right.
flow. It's about opening up the mind flow and making that all a whole lot better. It takes help. I don't care who you are. You can't do it alone. You can make that decision on your own, and you are the only one who can make that decision. That much you can do. Make that decision. But in order to achieve that awesome life success, you definitely need to have some support. And that is what I do with my clients. We start off, I don't know if I'm the right coach for you. It doesn't matter. We don't know what we don't know, right? And I might not be the right coach. Howsoever, you don't know until we have a conversation. And that's why I always say, have a conversation. We will set out a roadmap of what is possible and can fill you with that joy, fill you with that awesomeness. And I do have the tools and the heart energy techniques that can easily transform you quickly and gently. So you don't have to go down that deep hole by yourself and find a way out by yourself. This is a very gentle, easy process for feeling better quickly, very, very quickly. All of my clients get access to the heart energy techniques, and they will say, everything was going great after our last session, Karen, and I went down the tubes again, and it's really horrible. And within 15 minutes, we're right back up there.
100%. 100%. And speaking of conversations, I'm going to share Karen's links with you. And Sharon, as we go through, by all means, that I do believe that's your Facebook.
That's my Facebook page. Yes, and I love to connect with anybody. Please reach out, be a friend.
Awesome. And then we have your LinkedIn set up.
And that's where I am most often. In business, if you're not on LinkedIn and you're an entrepreneur, you're missing out. That is where I hang out the most, is on LinkedIn. And again, direct messaging is the best way to reach me at either of these places. Yes.
And of course, the young crowd all has parents, and they are on Instagram.
Yes, they are. I am not on Instagram a whole lot. I am in search of a wonderful social media person to help me with that Instagram. So there you go.
For anybody watching the replay, there's your cue right there to reach out to Karen. Not necessarily on Instagram. And this is Karen has a great podcast. Tell us a bit about that.
Yes, the awesomelifepodcast.com. Thank you so much, Dean. And Dean is going to be highlighted on our podcast in very short order. So I'm excited about that. He has such wisdom, as you all know. He has such wisdom, and his sharing is amazing. So the Awesome Life podcast is for women in transition who are, maybe you know what you want to do, you just don't have the resources. So my guests and I provide those resources and tips and tricks, or maybe you have no idea what you want to do. I know what I love, but I can't make any money at it. Well, guess what? My guests and I will show you that you can actually make a very good living at whatever it is that you love to do. So offering tips, tricks, and amazing guests like Dean Brown, Coach Dean Brown.
Thank you, Karen. And then, of course, we have, I think that's
my YouTube. Yeah, and I call it Conversations because, that's where you can watch us live from the podcast. I don't podcast live. It's all recorded. And sometimes the pre-recording is a lot more fun. So in the conversations, my guests and I are sharing things back and forth that might not be on the podcast. So
A little more risque, maybe.
you never know.
And there is, of course, your roadmap to enjoying your awesome life, and all this will be in the comments.
And I invite anybody who would like to go ahead, go to karenstultz.com/let's talk. Set up a time on my calendar for a 30-minute, no obligation, no pressure conversation. And basically, we will set up a roadmap for you. When you leave that time, whether it's with me or somebody else or nobody else, it's okay. We will set up a roadmap for your awesome life that can just bring you shine inside. That joy can shine inside. And that is my promise to you.
Beautiful. And I do believe this is the last one, and that is your website. I believe that.
It is, and that is, I'm working on still, guys. I'm working on karenstultz.com. But again, when I do get that up, I will give you a free quiz to find out where you are in creating your awesome life.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, dear sister. And of course, it's always a joy to speak with you, Karen. And I had so much for you. You've made such a huge impact on how I think and what I do, and of course, on how I serve my clients in the future because of that accountability program that the law of attraction brought us together to create. And just so you know, those two examples that the universe provided to me were perfect examples of what not to do.
And that is a learning experience as well, to be able to say, all right, why did that happen? That was horrible. That was nasty. Well, it just shows you what you don't want to do. And that's
right.
Good.
That's right. 100%. All right, my friends. And Karen, don't go anywhere. I'm going to take you off the stream just to close off the show. And we'll have a wee chat afterwards. But everybody, my friends, brothers and sisters, thank you for sharing your time, Karen and I. And Karen, thank you for being here.
Dean. And thank you all listening presently or in the rerun. Thank you.
Awesome. Much love, everybody. Have a great day.